Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Welcome to being here. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shya.
You don't know what you don't know.
Well, you know what you know.
That's true.
And you know what you know you don't know.
I know I do not know how to repair a
Jet motor.
jet motor. That's a good one. Thank you.
I should say jet engine.
But then there's everything else. Are you curious? Let's engage our curiosity today by listening. Of course, right now it's me speaking, so I'm basically saying, listen to me. But
I'm listening.
If you just engage that act of really hearing what's being said, let it wash over you, through you, without having to judge, evaluate, agree, disagree, know it already.
Think about.
Just let it go. You know, I often listen to audiobooks. I really enjoy them.
Yes.
And I rarely, if ever, stop in the listening in the middle to start thinking about what it means or applying what the characters are going through to me. You don't have to apply anything to yourself today. You can just
really it's here. Really about listening. That if you listen, you get pulled into the current moment of your life. If you think about what's being said, you get lost in your thoughts. So see if you can use your ears and really listen.
I think that is an awesome intro, and I don't know that we need anything more.
Okay, so let's call our first guest.
Yes, Renee. Welcome to being here, and kindly tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, I'm Renee, and I'm zooming in from San Francisco, California.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I have a question about listening and not knowing what you don't know.
What is your question?
My question is, socially, when I'm around a lot of people, I can get lost in my own thoughts about how I'm doing when I'm with other people. And I noticed that to gauge how I'm doing, I'm kind of looking at other people's responses to me and actions. Then I get lost in that. And I stop hearing what's being said because I'm worrying about whether or not I said something wrong or, came off as not friendly or caring.
You sound
awfully normal. Yes.
You sound like a normal person who, when they're around other people, has their attention on how they're doing because they want to be liked and they want to fit in. And so you sound normal.
So that's your starting
Here's what
place.
I found.
Oh, hello. Siri just said what I found about something. Oh, the addition of normal, I guess. But I don't want to need what Siri has to say about that. One thing I've noticed about you on Zoom seminars, and sometimes in person, but I haven't seen you as often in person recently.
Hey, take a breath and relax. It's not going to hurt what she has to say.
I don't think that what you're describing is a whole lot different on Zoom seminars, for instance, than in social interactions with people. And I'll tell you what I've noticed about you, that you are so smart. Your mind goes very fast. It comes up with an idea really fast. And I watch you. Sometimes your eyes flick away. And then even when you're asking the question, you were up here reading, your eyes went up into on your case, the right, and you were looking at your question. And I feel like sometimes in those moments where you go off to think, you miss the social cues from other people because you skip out.
Right. And then pardon me, and then I kind of try to catch up
Well,
when I come back. And
well,
Yes,
so
don't we all? It's like, oh, I left. Where am I at? But the other thing is, like, if you interrupt somebody, apparently, like two people will be speaking, you start speaking at the same time, meaning as somebody else. You rarely just go, oh, Shia, go ahead, or Ariel, go ahead. There's always a oops, where you chastise yourself first and then step into, oh no, you go ahead. But your automatic idea is that you're doing something wrong, which also sounds really normal.
that sounds accurate.
but, Renee, our whole technology, if you will, is based in awareness. Awareness is a non-judgmental seeing of the way you're being, non-judgmental. So you see it, and this is the way it is, and that's it. Not you see it and then chastise yourself or think you ought to be different. That's a judgmental way of observing the way you are. You can't do it wrong. You see, you either have your self-expression or you have the barriers to your self-expression. If you allow yourself to experience the barriers you have to self-expression, they dissolve. Because anything you experience completes itself. Anything you disagree with, don't want, don't experience, sticks around. So those things that you say you want to get rid of, the saying you want to get rid of that way of being keeps it in place. See, you just went off to look, right?
I did.
I mean, I know that we're releasing this as an audio, not the video, but you're so self-expressive. I imagine though, if somebody's listening to you, they can almost hear you go off and think.
Right. Right.
But going off into thought is not a bad thing.
Not a sin.
Right. So, if you see in change, you have good and bad, you have right and wrong, better and worse, beautiful and ugly, positive and negative, etc., etc. All those dichotomies, the good and evil, the right and wrong, that's in change. In transformation, there's only what is. See, it's only about the isness of the moment. So what is could only be the way it is. Change has good and bad, so you can be wrong, or you can be bad, or you can be off. But with transformation, you can only be the way you are. So if you see something that you did and you allow yourself to experience what it feels like to be that way, it's over. If you see something you did and you chastise yourself for it, you say, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't do it that way, you've already polarized it, locked it in place. So the things that you think are bad or good keep you stuck with what you say you want to let go of. That self-consciousness, that worrying about what other people think. If you notice you're worrying about what other people think and you don't judge yourself for it, it completes itself.
Right. Sometimes it kind of feels like I've got a little sportscaster up here calling the shot. Not the shots, but like, oh, here goes, oh, she fumbled it. Oh, there it goes. And then I get caught up in that. And what I hear you saying is it sounds a lot less stressful.
I have a feeling, Renee, that is that sportscaster talk to you as much when you're by yourself?
No.
Because I know you're coming to creativity and intuition, which is happening this weekend. We're looking forward to seeing you. For anybody who wants to come, it's not too late. It's in New Jersey at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. We're renting a space there. It's in person, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. I a feeling that you haven't caught the breadth of your intuitive nature. So when you walk into a group and you start having that sportscaster, and then she walks in and she's nervous, oh, she fumbled that. It hasn't occurred to you to look around and see if that is the ambiance in with the people that you're with. It's akin to walking into a elevator. The elevator.
I was going to say a restaurant where they're cooking garlic.
Ah.
You walk in and you immediately smell it, even though you don't see it yet. Your intuitive nature may allow you to pick up information that's not normal, that you just have a sense of. Or you may start acting out the dynamic of the people you're meeting with.
I mean, we've been trained when you walk into a restaurant to smell garlic and recognize that they must be cooking something with garlic in the kitchen. But it's a little bit like, mine was more crude. You walk into an elevator, the door is closed, you smell a fart that you didn't create, but you assume you're farting.
Yes.
It's as if you register or you smell the odor in the air, but you think it's emanating from you. It's a little bit like walking into a restaurant that's cooking garlic and you start sniffing your sleeve to see where or your armpits to see if you smell like garlic.
I get it. Yeah.
You don't get it yet because your I get it is a sort of a dangling participle.
Something dangling.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah.
Participle. You piqued her literary, right. Yes, thought process.
So
you look confused. So.
If you get it, and if you don't, you don't. And if you don't get it, that's perfect. Because you can't get something until you do.
And if you don't get it, there are other people who don't get it as well.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I came to Costa Rica with you guys this past year, and it was so I came up against stuff that I didn't know going into it what it was going to be like. I'd never traveled internationally before. It was all very exciting. And I got to see people in person, and I was excited about that because it had only been on Zoom that I'd seen them before. And then when I arrived in Costa Rica, I suddenly felt the presence of everyone around. And I spent a lot of time kind of filtering through what I'm describing now, that whole sportscaster, oh, she fumbled it, etc. And I think that really what happened that was so cool about that trip is that each and every day now, there'll be something that happened there that becomes that I didn't get when I was there. I thought I got it. I thought I understood it. And then it becomes, I suddenly will be going through my day. Yes, sir.
My problem with what you're saying is it sounds like you did it wrong.
It's a little bit less like a discovery, like, oh, here's another level of getting it. It's as if you didn't get it then and you're getting it now, as opposed to like, wow, my life is still unfolding. I'm still expanding. Somehow you're still working on yourself here.
That's true.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Working on yourself doesn't work. It keeps you in a constant state of incompletion. You see, when you allow yourself to be okay being the way you are in this moment, then there's not about getting somewhere. You're already there. But if you're working on yourself, if you're a work in progress, if you're saying, I'm not okay the way I am now, and I'll be okay when I get better, there is no better. See, There's only what is. In reality, this moment is perfect exactly the way it is, whether you get it or don't get it. You can't do it wrong, Renee. See,
even your second guessing isn't wrong. You second guess yourself. You perfectly second guess yourself when you're doing that.
There's no place to get to.
Okay, here's another metaphor that might work better. Are you familiar with like tuning forks? Or at least
yeah.
So if I had a tuning fork and you were holding a tuning fork and I hit mine and it starts vibrating and resonating, if I do it well enough, it's possible that yours will also vibrate in sympathy with my tuning fork. Does that?
Yes.
That corresponds with your understanding of tuning fork?
It does. Yeah.
What if I walk in the room and I'm self-conscious? And you've walked into the room, you're not self-conscious, you're just you. But if you have leftover self-conscious in you, then my tuning fork resonates what's in you. That's similar to road rage on a, somebody gets angry, boom, anger comes right back, and boom, you've got a conflict.
Oh. And that's why sometimes social situations can be so exhausting.
Well, no. That's what you call the reason you're exhausted. I say that social situations, people with insecurities show up around you, and you feel that insecurity and you think it's you.
It's like this.
It's not like, yeah.
It's like I'm holding up a Post-it pad. And let's say this Post-it pad has the message on the front of it. I'm in a great relationship. I love my life. I am so secure and I'm really good. And I put it in front of my face. And now you're reading all these things, but out of the side comes the reality of my perspective about myself. So you're very capable of walking into a room, reading what people are producing, but also registering what's effectively leaking out their ears, which is all their considerations about themselves.
And I think you've considered that to be a flaw in you rather than a talent.
An incredible asset.
And an asset that exists in your ability to read a space.
Oh, I see.
I've seen it on Zoom seminars. Sometimes, if you follow a thought, you'll say something and it feels a little bit out of sync. But oftentimes, you'll say something to somebody that is so spot on, not something other people have caught, but in your heart, it's something you should say and they need to hear. It comes from your ability to sense things because it's never out of something they've said.
And it's not out of what you already know.
Oh, I get it. I see that. That's so cool.
Yes, maybe you are.
That would be kind of cool too.
Yeah, but you see, when you say it, that would be kind of cool too. So
right.
You're not.
Right.
Already are.
Yeah, I think when you first got on Zoom, you started looking at yourself in the image, because we all have the opportunity to see ourselves. You're probably like, oh my God, my hair, do I look? Is my face too round? All those things. And then pretty soon you get so used to it, it goes in the background. You go in person and suddenly you have your whole body and they have their whole body and you have your whole set of self-judgments, as do they. And then they have a party.
Right. Yeah.
What if, Renee, you are already perfect exactly as in the current moment of your life?
Well, I was going to say that would be really cool, but
different than you are right now.
Too late.
So
now the interesting thing is there's a sea full of people out there who believe they're broken and they need to be repaired. They need to work on themselves. They need to get better. And you have a sensitive psychic nature. You pick up their thoughts, but you pick up their thoughts as though they're your thoughts. And so you judge yourself when you pick up their thoughts as though you've done it wrong somehow, or you're not enough, or you failed, rather than the company you're keeping maybe trying to pretend they don't think that about themselves. And
Yes.
when they pretend it, you get the bottom line.
Yes. Did you see how my eyes just went? Yeah, I went, yeah, and then, but then, yeah, it felt like a little circle.
Yeah, well, you don't want to know. I didn't want to set you up to be the eye police now, where you're like, oh, I looked up.
Right.
Just noticing.
No, I felt that, and it was really cool because I felt it, and then I was like, oh, but there they are.
Excellent. Well, welcome back. Thank you for being.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's that time.
The time for what?
Our listener feedback spotlight.
What is that?
Well, I'm so proud of the people who listen to this show. And now we get to hear from one or more of them about what's happening in their lives with transformation by listening to this podcast and
what they've discovered about life, what they've discovered about their lives, that they are experiencing fun in their lives.
And that they want to share it with you.
Yeah.
This is Heike in Cologne, and transformation has made me such a better actress just because I learned how to listen and have fun in my life.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Shout out to all of those folks who are coming to Creativity and Intuition this weekend. We look forward to being with you. And again, if you want to join us, you're welcome. I, and Susan Finch and I are offering a virtual seminar in September, Saturday, the 23rd, Speak Up. And you are invited. We're going to play with communicating with ease without having to judge ourselves for what we see.
Then we have the Freedom to Breathe and Art of Being a Healer, October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. It's a sleepaway. It's at Camp Tecumseh in Western New Jersey, and we'd love you to join us there.
The next virtual weekend seminar is on November 18th and 19th. The theme is Reclaiming Your Sense of Wonder. And it is going to be translated into German so that we can make sure and take care of all of our German-speaking friends. We had such a great time in Hamburg in May, and we're looking forward to spending time with our German speakers who don't always have the opportunity to come to everything. And so whichever language you speak, you are invited.
And then again, we have Costa Rica 2024. It's now open if you'd like to spend a week or two with us and some amazing people.
In a gloriously yummy environment in January.
When it's cold here. The other thing is a weekend seminar with us is a prerequisite, so we are certain that we work and play well together.
You can find out more about all those things at transformationmadeeasy.com. All right. Our next guest is Susan. Oh, Susan's coming in, and before this is a shout out to also Val. Val, our friend Val, who we've known for many years, suggested this topic. So look at how, Val, when you listen to this, look at all these people you've impacted. Hey, Susan.
Hi there. Hi, I'm Susan calling in from Brooklyn, New York.
Nice to have you with us.
Thank you. Really nice to be here. And thanks, Val, for the topic. It's perfect. So my question is around retirement. So I'll be retiring very soon. And I've worked in the finance industry for close to 4 decades. So I've had a schedule pretty much close to 4 decades. So, and I'm excited about retiring and looking at different opportunities and, volunteer, playing more golf. But I find that I get concerned about not knowing how it's going to be. If I'll still,
Susan, you
yes,
know how it's going to be.
Well, did you know COVID was coming?
No.
You thought you knew what that work life was going to be, and there was a whole big shift.
And, you don't know what's coming. None of us do. We assume from what we know what's coming, but that's always an assumption based in past information. The universe is showing up newly in each moment. So you can discover what you want to do with your life when you go into retirement by looking and seeing what you are interested in. You don't have to figure it out in advance.
Yeah.
In fact, you can't.
It's interesting. As I was preparing for today, I was also preparing because we're working on titles for the rest of the year, titles for the Being Here podcast. And I came across another Einstein quote, as in our good friend Albert. And he said, the only thing that interferes with my learning is my education.
In other words, what he knows keeps him from discovering what else is possible, because you automatically go to what you already know. So you're trying to now figure out what you're going to be doing months down the road.
Yes.
And you have no clue the moment you retire. You have no clue what's going to be going on with your family. You don't know what the weather's going to be like. You don't. I'm certain that you.
And there are opportunities and options that are coming along with that moment that you don't know exist at this moment.
But you've been educated. There was when you first laid out your question, you said, "I'm retiring,"
and that means something. You have a whole picture associated with retirement. So it's not just I'm retiring. Look, I'm still working. I'm not retired. I am semi-retired in that there are a lot of things that I used to do that I don't get to do anymore. I don't have to do. Ariel has taken over a lot of the things that I used to do, but when I'm needed, I'm asked, and then I join in. And the rest of the time, I'm retired. And I look around and I see what wants to be done and whether or not I want to do it. And if the answer is yes, that's what I do.
I have a prediction. If you were to come back a year from now, you'll be laughing at your forward-thinking concern.
Yeah, at your predicament of not knowing what you're going to be doing when you retire.
And you'll be shocked at how easily and well you have filled your days. And if anything, you have to remind yourself to relax a little, because you'll have taken this forward drive to produce things, and then you'll be producing things in your home, in your with your photography, with your flower arranging, with your golf, with your vacation, going travel with your husband, all the different things you do. That could now, rather than just be a flow, be your new job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Going to the job of retirement.
I know.
Right. Yeah, gosh, that's I feel so much less pressure on myself in having a conversation with you. And that's it. Just a lot less pressure.
Well, Susan, darling, you don't have to figure out how the world's going to be years down the road. All you have to do is handle this moment and you'll handle everything. If you're here for this moment of your life, then you are in control of your life, even though we are out of control because life shows up the way it does and we don't have much say in the matter. No say at all, except if you say no and then you're miserable.
Right.
Life shows up the way it does. Then you can either engage in it as it is, or you can complain to yourself about it. If you engage as it is, you become the author of your experience of life. If you complain to yourself about it, like it should be different, you become the victim of the circumstances of your life. It's all about choosing your life.
I just wanted to mention one other thing. Our minds are constructed. First of all, they're survival machines. I know you've heard us say that before, but they're in a problem solution framework. That's what they do. They find problems and they extrapolate potential solutions to these problems that happen. And now all of the sudden, you're not simply ending your 40-year career in banking. It's like the problem solution nature of your mind is like retirement, my new problem, which I need to solve.
Right. I see.
And I really think, that's part of why we're doing the course, Reclaiming Your Sense of Wonder, because you don't see a young kid trying to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of their life when they get up in the morning.
True. Yeah.
And there's the possibility of being able to reclaim the wonder in being where you are and trust that you will handle the things that need to get handled. I don't see you saying, that's it, I'm not paying my mortgage now because I'm retired. It's not happening.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's
Thank
super.
you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited. Cool. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, sweetheart.
As you heard in the middle of the show, we have these listener spotlights, the little blurbs from people in our community or people who listen to the Being Here podcast. And if you'd like to submit one, or if you'd like to be a guest yourself, like Marty was last week, it was his first time ever, as in Susan and Renee today, you are welcome to. You just go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. Next week's episode.
Beam me up, Scotty.
That's a reference for all of you
Star Trekians.
Yeah, you'll have to tune in to find out what it's about. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss being here.